What's up, guys? Happy Saturday. Happy March Madness Saturday. This is a very, very special Saturday. I have just the crew for this. Tons of college basketball today. It's been hell of a ride through round one, so we're going to get some round two picks for you guys here. I have just the crew to bring in today. We got Chip. We got Mike. This is the college basketball lineup of the year. Guys, Chip, how do we feel about last night? Give me some reactions from what's been going on.
Last night, what a tough look for the Southeastern Conference. 3-5 overall. At one point in the day, they were 1-5. You've got losses to double-digit seeds left and right. That's kind of a fun talking point, but there's still an SEC team, the one that I think's got the best chance to make a deep run. They'll be in action today trying to punch their ticket to the Sweet 16. So, when it's all said and done, we get to the Sweet 16 and the Elite Eight, the SEC might still have some representation, but there's no doubt that Auburn, Kentucky, and so many more really have let that conference down.
I was just about to say, as a SEC member, I can't think of an appropriate thing to say on camera of how I feel about what's been happening to SEC, but it's not been good. This has not been good for them here. Mike, how are you feeling? How's your bracket looking? How do you feel about last night?
Feeling good. Bracket looks okay mostly. Did not enjoy the Auburn loss, but it didn't really matter because I had UConn coming out of that region anyway, so not a big deal on the bracket front. Feeling good though. I was not impressed with the St. Mary's game. I don't think Grand Canyon is very good, to be honest with you. So I was a little disappointed to see that one, but overall, love the madness. I think it's going to be a fantastic day today. A lot of very, very interesting matchups, some high-profile matchups. Could be a fun day.
I know. Now that my bracket's pretty much screwed, I'm just rooting for the chaos. I'm just here for the plot. Give me all the upsets. I love the way this is going so far. So with that, Mike, we're going to kick it off to you first. You have a play here in this Gonzaga-Kansas game. Kansas not looking like what you'd want them to, but this could be a good spot here for Gonzaga.
Yeah, it's a fascinating spot and matchup overall. Stylistically, I think this actually works pretty well for Gonzaga. This Kansas team plays at a very similar pace, and I think that they're really going to show their lack of depth at this point. It's been a talking point for a lot of the season, and that was even with Kevin McClure in, but not having him out there on the floor in this matchup certainly hurts them defensively. Now they're really vulnerable. If they're able to get Hunter Dickinson in foul trouble at all, they have some real issues here. So I like Gonzaga in this matchup. Decent free throw shooting team, really pretty strong in terms of defensive free throw rate. So not going to put the opponent on the foul line often. That is critical in this matchup. But for me, it's Kansas. It's the team that, they almost gave up that game. They're just in a rough spot right now with no real depth. It would take a great shooting performance for them to really win a game handily. So I like the late game execution a lot better on the Gonzaga side. I played this 3.5 the second that it opened. I made the number all the way up to 7 here. So I think it's a multi-possession win for Gonzaga. I think, again, Kansas, a team that you can never discount them because of really just the pedigree of Bill Self. They can always figure things out. And they've always got talented athletes overall. But I like the Gonzaga spot here, mostly betting against Kansas more than on Gonzaga.
Yeah, I isn't there a little bit of ball don't lie over that controversial finish? The block that was end up called a foul. Like the vibes there have got to say Kansas has got to keep it coming. Number 2, Hunter Dickinson, Graham Ike, the Gonzaga big man. That is a phenomenal matchup. And that's kind of how I do think that Dickinson could end up getting in trouble. And then number 3, I saw one of our friends in the early Edge fam say something about the backdrop. I'm actually in Stamford, Connecticut right now. I'll be on CBS Sports HQ all night tonight, all night tomorrow. So make sure you come and hang out. CBS Sports HQ in the CBS Sports app.
Yeah, I feel the same way about this game. I'm actually stunned we didn't see any massive steam to Gonzaga. Kansas just didn't do anything to really impress me, obviously, in that last game. I think this is a great spot. Hunter Dickinson, I think our SportsLine model has some value on him, over 9.5 rebounds if he can stay out of foul trouble here. So I like that spot. But nonetheless, if you want to place a bet on Gonzaga minus the 3.5, you can head over to BetMGM. At BetMGM for second round of March Madness, eligible players will receive 32% boost. Okay, 32% odds boost token, 32% live odds boost token, and a parlay boost token as well. So if you log into BetMGM, into the app, you can find the details for all of that stuff there. All right, before we get into some other picks, we're going to hear a word from one of our partners.
The blackout mystery remains.
Welcome to March Madness.
You just never know in the tournament who is going to shine.
Stream March Madness live on any device, anywhere, and be ready for anything.
All right. I know I'm usually on the NBA on Saturdays here. After my 20-500 that really just ripped my heart out last night, boots on ground in the Hard Rock, Jaden Ivey didn't come through. So I'm taking a little bit of hiatus from my Detroit Piston player props, which I know I've said before, but I really mean it this time. We're going to head into the association, or we're not heading into the association. First off, this play kind of makes me feel like the villain of America here, but I can't help it. I'm going to take NC State to cover the 5.5 against Oakland here. I love Golke as much as the next guy. Believe me, I love a story like that. However, what he's been doing is just not sustainable here, okay? The SportsLine model makes this a 15-point victory for NC State. Golke, as we saw, went 10 for 20 from deep. And unlike Kentucky, which we've known all season, defense has never really been their thing. NC State, I think, will humble this Oakland team here, okay? They're allowing less than 27% three-point shooting on average here. What NC State has been doing is sustainable. They've made an awesome ACC tournament run. They show dominance against Texas Tech here. They have about 3 to 4 players that can put up 15-plus points on any given night. And then you have Diarra, who's over here averaging well over a double-double, almost a triple-double, has had like 10 blocks in his last 4 games, all while fasting for Ramadan. So 2 claps for him. That's just a side note here. But I think what this NC State team has been doing, this will humble Oakland here. Their defense is actually here. It's something this team actually prides himself on. So I think we'll see a very different matchup here. Now, this might be fading chip later. Creighton Blue Jays is just about all the dignity I have left in my bracket, okay? I have them making it out of their region here. I have them beating Purdue. Nothing that they did in the first round really dissuaded me from that opinion here. They shot almost 59% from 3, which is very impressive. Kalkbrenner looks amazing, okay? This guy doesn't foul. He shoots clean. I really like this for him. I think we give Creighton a pretty big 2-point edge here, 59% compared to the 49% for Oregon. I think Kalkbrenner will be able to contain Oregon center here. We only have him projected for 14 points. So when it comes into this foul trouble situation, I can see Oregon center getting into foul trouble here. Kalkbrenner not really seeing that. He's never really been one to foul. There's a reason he has multiple Defensive Player of the Year awards under his belt here. So this is big on Creighton. I'm going to fade just about anyone that Creighton's going to play here. So that's what I like. But we got more to get through as well. We're going to talk about some site picks here. Now, a lot of our guys, Tom Casale specifically, that's all I need to hear, is on UNC minus the 3.5. We have a lot of experts on UNC minus the 3.5. Do you guys have any strong opinions on this, or do you just ride with Tom Casale here?
Well, full disclosure, Kenz, I think I misspoke to you. Tom is on the other play you're about to give, not this one. There are a suite of experts on this play. I am not one of them. Tom is not one of them. So I didn't want to speak for him there. But I think the number is mostly correct here. Having said that, I'm not eager to jump in. So I made it around 3.5. Yeah, it's so tough in this particular spot. I think Michigan State knows how to really muck up the game, play at a slow tempo, dictate pace, and try to do all they can to essentially guarantee they have a shot in the final 4 minutes. And I think that's what we get here. So when you're getting more than a full possession, that's where I've got it in the computer. But if I had to play it, I probably am taking the points on the Michigan State side.
Yeah, I would not lay more than a possession in this game. It is going to be white knuckling all the way down the stretch. RJ Davis on one side, Tyson Walker on the other. You know, who can make shots? And that's exactly the game, as Mike said, that Tom Izzo wants to play here. A couple big picture things. Number one, you've got Tom Izzo in game 2 in the NCAA tournament. He is one of the best coaches in terms of being able to turn around and be able to implement a game plan based on who won the other game in your pod. That means the second round, the Elite Eight, all of these game 2 spots. Tom Izzo has been fantastic. But on the other hand, he has not been fantastic against North Carolina. In fact, for the most part, North Carolina and Duke have had Michigan State's number throughout the Tom Izzo era. So lots of conflicting trends here. I think, it's not even that strong. I think North Carolina wins the game. I would not lay more than a possession. Maybe a good live opportunity if you see that number start to dip a little bit one way or the other.
Yeah, this is ugly to me. I mean, we have an upset bracket for the SportsLine model where Michigan State wins this, and then we have the optimal bracket where UNC is barely coming out of this, then going on to play Bama, and then we have Bama coming out of it. So the Wild West is what we've been calling it, obviously, as everyone knows. I got to address these, okay? Everyone thinks I have a bong in the background of this video. This is a Vegas, guys, okay? This happened all football season. This is a vase. Okay, guys, get your interior designing hats on. Anyway, we got one more site play here. A Dayton plus the 10. This is what Tom, the lock Casale, is on here. I do like this play. This is kind of another tough game because it's like you win last second. How do you feel? Is that momentum? Is that bad momentum? Any thoughts on this one, guys?
When I look at this one, I think that it's difficult in this point in the tournament, really in season, to cover double-digit spreads. We've got some pretty big contrast in style here as well, but I personally think Arizona is going to at least be able to dictate the pace still. So I think things are still going to play at that very quick tempo. So if I had to play it, I'm on the over in this game, over 149. Slight lean on the Dayton side, but for me, it's going to be an overplay.
Buddy, Dayton cannot start the way that it did in the opening round game against Nevada. The only reason that the Flyers are here is an absolute choke job by the Wolfpack, 2 words, not the Wolfpack 1 word. I think this is going to be a very important first 20 minutes because while you can talk yourself into we're still in this game against a team like Nevada, it's not going to feel the same way to generate that confidence that you're going to be able to mount a big comeback against Arizona. So very, very important first half for the Flyers. If they're going to cover 10, they need to be competitive when they go into the locker room at halftime.
Yeah, we make this game Arizona minus 4.5, so definitely a slight lean to Dayton, but not some strong pick that I'm giving out to the public here. But again, a lot of our SportsLine analysts on this pick, so something to be said for that, certainly. Before we get into Chip's picks, let's hear one more word from our sponsors.
2 big boys getting ready to play. Big being the operative word here. And here they come.
All right, Chip. I know I went with the Creighton Blue Jays here. I know you're on the other side of this, so I guess the chat will have to tell us which side of this they're going to end up being on here. But I respect you and your picks, so I'm excited to see what you have to say about this Oregon team here.
Oh, listen, let's talk about CLV. Let's talk about chip line value. Chip line value is when you are so confident in your grind, you'll take the worst number. So Kenz has got 5. That's cool. Give me Oregon at 4 and a hook. Because what I think that we have right here is an opportunity for the Ducks to do 2 things that they have done throughout the Pac-12 tournament and then flexed again against South Carolina. And number 1, that is Oregon big man and Folly Dante has just been an absolute machine, not just on offense, but also on defense. And I think that his rim protection is so important against Ryan Kalkbrenner, so important against Trey Alexander if he tries to get to the rim. And that allows the rest of this Oregon team, led by Dana Altman, plus value tournament coach, to be able to scheme up some junk defenses, to put Creighton a little bit out of their comfort zone. And then the other piece of this is we saw how Oregon shooters were just letting it rain against South Carolina. Those rims are looking wide open. I think the Ducks can keep that going. I think they're live to win. So I will go Oregon plus the 4.5. The other one that I like here is Iowa State minus 6.5. The Cyclones' top gear is absolute death metal. Just like they are in your face, full court pressure. I mean, the way that they create turnovers, the way that they create steals. I mean, it is a full team effort and commitment to a style of play. And I don't think that Washington State has the ball handlers to be able to do that here. Washington State, of course, in this position, kind of like what I mentioned with Dayton earlier, Washington State down by 6 or 7 points, about 5 minutes left. And then all of a sudden, maybe a little bit of a choke job from Drake, 2 years in a row that's happened in the first round, by the way. So Washington State's also dealing with some injury issues. I just don't think that they have the skill on the perimeter to necessarily be able to handle Iowa State's pressure. So I think that, what we have seen from them in terms of just being able to impose their will on the opponent, if they did it against Houston, they can definitely do it against Washington State. I'll take the Clones and I'll lay the 6.5.
All right. Yeah. This is just a turnover machine team, which is really, really fun to like. I like this Iowa State team here as well. I have them also advancing pretty far, but apparently that means nothing because my bracket just.
Well, don't worry about that. So look, on the Cover 3 podcast, we did an episode where we filled out the bracket with the what if it was football teams. And that bracket is in the top 30 out of 1.2 thousand brackets in the Cover 3 bracket challenge. And all we did was go through it and be like, oh, well, we got a coaching change at Michigan State. I really believe in Jonathan Smith and move them on to the next round. And so far, football teams have been doing well. So don't worry about a busted bracket because even the most lopsided logic will end up, getting you to the top of a bracket challenge.
One of my friends in my college sorority pool right now picked her teams based off the better looking head coach, and she is doing better than just about all of us right now. So whatever gets you there, guys. All right, let's take a look at the recap screen. I know everyone's going to get out of here. So I am on NC State minus the 5.5 against Oakland. Sorry, Golke, it's not personal. It just has to happen. Creighton minus the 5 here. Chip is on Iowa State minus the 6.5. And he's on Oregon. He's giving himself the plus the 4.5 here. I love that confidence from him. Mike is on Gonzaga against Kansas minus the 3.5. And we got some friends over at SportsLine that are on UNC minus the 3.5 and Dayton plus the 10. All right, guys. That's all we have time for today. Saturday, we'll get you in, we'll get you out, we'll make you some money for the weekend. That's all we're ever here to do. So with that said, good luck with all your bets tonight. Big Saturday for the team. Let's make some money, and we'll see you guys Monday.